I'm Doug Boyle for Sales Labs. This afternoon we have a gentleman whose career spans sales, sales management, regional management, currently is serving as CEO. This is his third opportunity as CEO for 3 different companies in 3 different industries. Phil Padfield has a wealth of knowledge, experience, and common sense, which has distinguished him throughout his career. Welcome, Phil.
Thanks, Doug.
As we delve into sales reporting and technology, I'd like you to maybe go back in your career and your experience to before customer relationship management systems were in place, CRM systems. How did managers find out the reality of the sales situations? How do they understand the information? In fact, what were the basics that they needed to have in their management jobs?
Thinking back to the start of my sales career, which was 1986, I remember collecting piles of company reports and using those company reports to extract information about the business, trying to glean from chairman's reports or CEO statements their intent for the direction of the business, and in some way using that to work it into our approaches. Now, we were selling in those days sort of mainframe type class computing, so trying to work in the requirement for automation. I think in those days there was much less information publicly available. We gleaned what we could when we went to the customer site. However, I think that we spent a lot more time building relationships with customers then. So I think there is a paradox in that customer relationship management systems are called that, but I do wonder whether they are actually strengthening the customer relationship. Back in those days, you would spend a lot of time understanding your customer, and you probably have less coverage. You wouldn't hit so many people in the organization, but the few people that you would hit, if that's the right word, you'd have a deeper, more meaningful relationship with them. Now, I think the requirement for information has changed since then, and I think there are 2 key reasons for that. One is that, of course, the customer has access to a far greater array of information about your competition and indeed about you, and they can search pretty easily and find customers who may not be happy with some of the things that you've done for them. So they have a greater access to information, and you too need greater access to information about them and about the environment. The second, and I think I've seen this particularly in the course of the last 5 or 6 years, that the number of touches a customer requires to get deals over the line seems to be a lot greater now than it was 10 or 15 years ago. Maybe back then I always had the impression that individuals, based on the strength of the relationship you had with them and the fact that they trusted you, were more willing to go out on a limb and make a commitment to buy more from you. Whereas certainly over the last 5 or 6 years, it requires validation from other people within their organization. Often, they want to go through fairly lengthy ROI type evaluations, and they're just not willing to put their neck on the line and sign up without other people validating alongside them. So I think because of those 2 things, there is a requirement for more information about the customers. However, I do have that fundamental question in my mind, which is, well, what's driving what? Are we trying to get the technology to drive customer interaction here? And in the context of high value, high touch sales, a customer relationship management system won't replace having a well-trained, well-coached sales guy go and work with a customer and establish a relationship as a valued advisor.